Ah, the M4 Mac Mini. So much power packed in a small frame. Easily my favorite computer that I ever owned, but it and every other desktop from Apple, or even the ones not made by Apple, such as the Hackintosh, is missing something significant, which has to be Touch ID. Now, Apple did provide an option to add it, which will be a Magic Keyboard. But if you're like me and addicted to the noise each stroke make on your mechanical keyboard, then it's hard to dish those satisfying sounds for a non-mechanical keyboard just for Touch ID alone. But maybe there's a way that we could utilize both. YouTube, welcome to GeekShhh. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to get your hands on is one of these Magic Keyboards, preferably one of the shorter ones and not the longer one. Now, the best place to get one of these will definitely be Facebook Marketplace. I was able to pick one up locally for 35 bucks. Now, once we extract the Touch ID button from the keyboard, we're going to need to house it somewhere. And my suggestion is to get a 3D printout to do that. Now, once again, you could go on Facebook Marketplace, type in 3D print service, and you should see some young entrepreneur in your area selling those services. Now, if you don't see someone in your area, then you probably could find someone locally in a neighboring state or something that will be able to print it out and then ship it to you. All right, so now let's get to extracting that Touch ID button. All right, so first we're going to start off with the iFixit Jimmy. I highly suggest picking one of these up. These are perfect if you want to wedge a gap in between something. This is perfect for getting in tight places. So we're going to try to get ourselves, wiggle our way in there, and then from there we're going to see if we can wedge something else in there to start trying to break apart that adhesive. So we got that in there, but now we gotta try to wedge something else in there. I see it separating. All right, now we gotta try to get something else in there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So far, so good. All right. Now we can put the credit card in there. We got that low key. We got that in there. Then we put that on top of that. Then we was able to bring it around. All right. Now I'm gonna try to use this credit card. I'm gonna put a little isopropyl alcohol. Hopefully that will help with the glue. Put the isopropyl alcohol. I do have a heat gun next to me in case I need to use it, but I think this isopropyl alcohol and this old credit card should definitely do the trick. And it definitely looked like it is. You know what I mean? A little more isopropyl. All right, so this is the problem I was running into when I was trying to use the card to open up the sides. So on the bottom, you have the white back cover, as you can see. Underneath that, there's a black layer that you will see once we take apart once we remove the white back cover, you will see that black layer I'm talking about. What happened was when I was on the sides, the card was sliding underneath that black layer. You don't want to do that. You want the card to be underneath the back white cover, but above that black layer when you're disassembling it. Separate and apart from that, Apple put a lot of glue on this back cover, bro. It is a lot of adhesive under there. So what I end up having to do is grab my heat gun. I put the heat gun on its lowest settings and I just basically went over it a few times just to warm up that adhesive so it will make it easier for my card plus my isopropyl alcohol to get in there so I can remove the bottom cover completely. All right. Yeah, what's happening is this inner layer, this black inner layer, I was going underneath the inner black layer. So I want to make sure you're at the cover and not the inner black layer. Plus, I think the glue helped a little too. Thing tearing up my poor old credit card. Yeah. All right. Whew. All right. T4, Torx T4 gets it done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and unscrew these screws with the T4 bit. After we get rid of these screws, every screw after this will be utilizing the T3 bit. All right, so after we unscrew these screws, then we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. All right, seems like I disconnected it. All right, seems like it's disconnected. So now that it's disconnected, then I should be able to, yeah. All right, so that was disconnected. So we gotta take this out. Should be something under here that you disconnect. Remove that. Then I know you want to lift these two things. That's to disconnect the ribbon. All right. So the ribbon disconnected, so you could basically take that out now. And then you want to lift this one up too. All right, so now with that one out, then you could get this out, get this ribbon out the way. And now you should be able to just unscrew this. Let me see if we can still use the T4, hopefully. Nope, can't use the T4 no more. All right. T3 doing it. All right, so you got to use T3 for that. All right, so I think that's all the screws, but you still got to disconnect this right here. So all right, so we disconnected that. All right, so we got our first piece out, that plus the battery. All right, then we want to get this out right here. So hopefully this is T3 as well. Let's see. Seems like it's T3 as well. All right. So we're getting this out. All right, so that was T3. All right, so we got another piece out. All right, so now this goes all the way. Should be the Touch ID under this. All right, so see if we could pick up this ribbon gently. Pick this up gently. See what's under here. First, let me unlatch this. All right, so now, what is this? It's just a black cover, I think. Well, let me unscrew that. All right. So. All right, I don't know if I should remove this black piece because we gotta get under there. Ew, just pull this. All right, so I got it out, but this other piece definitely jumped at me. I don't think we need this. All right, so you don't need those two pieces at all. Now, when you unscrew these screws that's attached to the Touch ID, these silver screws, make sure you keep them because you're going to need to use them later on. Make sure you keep the screws as well as the black back cover. You're going to need to use all of those. All right. T3 again. So it's T4 for the first. T4 is what we first use, and then you go ahead and use T3. All right. We're gonna have to put some energy in this. I have to put some energy in this right here. All right, so that's out. And over here is the same way. Just gotta put some energy in it. All right. A little light energy. You just, you want to be so careful because you don't want to break a ribbon and then nothing works. So you want to be so careful with it, man. All right, so hopefully we can get this through this hole. All right, so now we got it here. Get that adhesive. Then again, is this the part you just pull back? I think this is the tape too. Okay, I think this is the tape that goes straight under. So I think if you pull this back, you should be able to just pull the tape all together. Yeah, I think this is the tape. Yeah, so this is the tape. All right, so with that being the tape, pull it right here. All right, so that's the tape that was under it. So that's the tape that was under it. So now with the tape that was under it gone, should be able to get this out very easily. And we are. All right, so with the tape being gone, we was able to get it out easily. All right, so now let's try to get this in here. Okay, cool. So we got that out. All right, so we successfully extracted everything we needed from the Magic Keyboard. Now, the reason I went this route is because I already own all the tools that I used in this video. Now, links will be in the description for everything I used, but what I mean by that is I already own the heat gun. I already own the plastic card, the spudgers, you know, the isopropyl alcohol in the spray bottle. Everything I needed, I already owned it. So if you're not someone that can see yourself utilizing those tools in the future, way past this particular project, that it might not be in your best interest to order all those things. Now, I say all that to say this. There is someone that is selling all of these things that we extracted from the Magic Keyboard. They are selling it on eBay. Now, they sell it as a kit for about 78 bucks, and they do take best offers. So I would imagine you'll be able to get away with an offer of $60 to $65 just to bypass this whole process, especially if you can't find a Magic Keyboard at a decent price. Like I said earlier in the video, I was able to pick mine up for 35 bucks. If you can't find one for around that price, then it might be best for you to just go ahead and order that from eBay. And then all you have to do is put it into the 3D printout. Speaking of the 3D printout, while on the screen you see me putting it together, I want to just say something about it. You know, first and foremost, I really like the 3D printout because at the end of the day, it's a longer 3D printout. Meaning, if it's long, that means you can include the battery in it. Meaning you can have your Touch ID wireless. If you use one of the smaller 3D printouts that you're not able to include your battery, then that means you're going to have to have it constantly plugged in to your Apple desktop, whether it's a USB-C cable or a lightning cable. I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to keep it wireless. That's why I went ahead and got one of these longer ones. The problem with this particular one is the charge port. Now, it has two little tabs on it that you basically got to melt to help hold it in place. And I was able to melt it with my heating gun, my solder iron rather. The problem with it though, it still doesn't stay in place. So I don't really like this. I put it together and it's working, but the problem is that charging, when I need to charge it again, is going to be a problematic experience. So what I end up doing was finding another 3D printout that I'm going to actually use. I don't have it right now. I'm going to have my friend print that one out, and then I'm going to do a YouTube short updating you guys on how it turned out. So I'm gonna basically go from this particular one to that one. But as of right now, everything works and it's utterly amazing. At first, I couldn't get the 3D print lid to close. That's because I had the cover on the Touch ID. Once I remove that cover from the Touch ID, and it's very easy to move, you could just remove it with your fingernail. Once I removed that cover, then I was able to close everything up and everything fit perfectly. But like I said, that charge port is horrible. Now, I really like this. This is a great addition. I really suggest everyone to go ahead and do this with their Apple desktops, whether you're on a Mac Studio, Mac Mini, or even a Mac Pro. This makes things way easier. Instead of having to type in passwords, all you gotta do is press a button. Y'all already know how it goes because I'm pretty sure everyone used the MacBook or your iPhone. So y'all already know how it goes. So it really turned out great. Look out for that YouTube short where I'll show you guys me going from this old 3D printout to the newer one. Until then, my name is DeMarco Payne for GeekShhh. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And last but not least, may the good news be yours.